Good evening, Cebu. Good evening, Philippines. It's open mic night tonight, and tonight I have one of my dearest friends here. But she is not only a dear friend, she is a mentor I look up to, an outstanding youth leader. She was president of the Student Council of the University of San Carlos from our party, Tingo Garlinian, and she holds the record until now of having the highest number of votes for any president of the Student Council and the highest margin between her and her opponent. I think she had over 8,000 and there were like 9,000 voters, something like that. And then after that, she worked for the Ayala Foundation, and according to some Ayala Young Leaders, she is responsible for making the Ayala Young Leaders Congress, a premier leadership development program in the country, what it is today, no? After being an alumna herself of AYLC. But now, she's a director of the Ramon Aboitiz Foundation School Adventure Camp. So you see, she has been very consistent in her advocacy for young people. So we are privileged to have Miss Sol Delantar-Gonzalvo.
Thank you, Mike, for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, exactly. Because in my list, my initially short list of guests that I wanted to come to the show before I started, she was already there. And then she gave birth, so she has two. Aside from the credentials I mentioned, she's now a mother of two handsome boys.
Yes.
And so we had to postpone because of maternity leave. So finally you're here?
Yes, finally I'm here. I'm very excited. This is going to be like our usual coffee and late night talks.
Yeah, or tingog meetings.
Yes.
On the side while the student leaders practice their speeches.
Yes.
In between criticizing them. So how are you, Sol?
I'm good. I'm actually having a good challenge right now because a lot of the things I'm doing are actually trailblazing
and bearing fruit, no?
Yes, we've opened the Cool Adventure Camp in 2014.
That's in Balamban.
Yes, that's in Balamban, and now we're really getting a good number of people coming to the camp. You know, for training. So we average about 8,000 per year, so that's a good number for us.
And then your team won, no?
Yes.
During the Aboitiz.
The Ramon Aboitiz Foundation golden anniversary. So we were called the movers of the year for meeting our targets, for having the initiative to really work through the different processes and systems as a way of upgrading, upscaling our operations.
I'm familiar with what you do in the Cool Adventure Camp. It's basically adventure-based education. But can you tell our viewers more about Rafi? Rafi's Cool Adventure Camp.
Well, first, we are a program under the Ramon Aboitiz Foundation Incorporated. So Rafi is a nonprofit. It's actually a family foundation of the Aboitizes. And under the leadership and citizenship focus area of the foundation is the Cool Adventure Camp. So Cool Adventure Camp is the first and only, we're very proud of that, fully dedicated adventure education center in the Philippines. And when we say adventure education center, we separate ourselves from recreation, because when you say recreation, you go through like a challenge ropes course or zip line, and then you pay, and then after that it's like, okay, thank you, you may now exit, ma'am. But adventure education is really, they come to the center, there are fixed pre-planned goals, learning objectives for them, and at the end of the course is that we make sure that these goals are achieved, whether it's team building, it's self-development, it's organizational change. We make sure that we use the right tools, which is adventure, to achieve these training goals.
So this is a lot like what you used to do for Ayala. For when you were with Ayala.
Very much the same. Yeah. Well, first, the first time I've been on an adventure program was really through the Ayala Young Leaders Congress.
In the Andres Soriano.
Yes, in the old Andres Soriano Center in Tagaytay. This facility is owned by San Miguel, but it's rented every year by the Ayala Foundation and the Ayala Group. So that was the first time. So actually, I climbed a 30-foot pole and leaped off of it after shouting your life goal, something like that. And I think I remember that time my life goal was to be the UN Secretary General.
Well, it's not yet too late for that.
No, but let's see. But you can still see the possibilities.
When you
there.
left, what kind of palid sa hangin?
Almost.
This is
Yeah.
another- look at her, she's so slim.
So that experience was really, to me, very liberating, and very, like, it empowered me a lot, and it made me realize that I can do whatever I set out myself, whatever goal I set out for myself. So because of that life-changing experience, that was what got me into this. I really enjoy being with the young people. I really enjoy training. I enjoy going out on an adventure. So we do expedition programs as well. So land expedition, sea expedition, and this really is something that's work in progress too, because if there are new destinations or new activities, new tools in the trade, we also incorporate it all the time.
I tried that adventure course in at Andres Soriano in Tagaytay. I remember climbing the
wall, the climbing wall.
And with a partner at the time. Incidentally, it was
Was there one who was blindfolded?
I was
You were the one blindfolded. Wow.
Yeah, and then incidentally, it was an ex of mine who's leading me.
So did you reach?
Well, there was in hindsight, it was for me the blind leading the blind. No, I'm just kidding. But I remember my realization then is sometimes you don't have to lead. There are times when even leaders have to follow, and you just have to trust, in the person leading you, so that you can get to where you ought to go. I remember that was a realization then, but that was like what 12 years ago, or maybe 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So what you did with Ayala, but that was very focused,
Yeah.
and it was
only once a year.
and for youth leaders who are very select.
Yes.
So essentially, it's the same program, but here you've expanded it to companies. So it's the profit, you profit from the companies, but the profit that you earn is used to
Spent
offset
for the public schools.
for public schools.
So
You have
for-
scholars from public schools.
For Cool Adventure Camp, of the 100% that come to the center, 70% are from public high schools.
Okay.
So these public high schools only pay like 20% of the cost, and the 80% is actually subsidized by Ramon Abuetis Foundation. So that's really our mission, is to make the training available to those who don't have opportunity access to these trainings.
And the 80% comes from
the professional development program. So these are corporates, these are
team buildings,
yes,
etc.
team buildings, non-profits who also come
But
to us.
the public school participants, how do you choose them?
We
Leaders also.
Well, we have a bias for those who are elected into office. So you have the student council, so Supreme Student Government, and then we also have the Supreme Pupil Government.
So when you say public schools, this is high school.
High school, and we do some elementary
Oh,
schools,
really?
so public.
But
elementary
college
schools.
level.
College, they also come to us. So we have some state colleges,
universities,
but then we also work with private schools. So like for example, the University of San Carlos, for the I think the not the civil engineering, one of the engineering courses.
Okay.
Yeah. Before they used to have the batch tour. They send you to Manila to
Like a
do
lakbay aral.
Yes. Now this department in USC said that they're not going to allow all of these batch tours anymore, but they're only going to accredit Cool Adventure Camp. And this is a requirement before they do the thesis, to make sure that the thesis group is really working together,
cohesive.
and cohesive, and are able to set these expectations and this synergy among themselves before they even do their thesis. And we've received very good feedback that they are really able to finish their thesis on time and graduate as a team. So we've had some success there. We also work with the Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu. Actually, we are already integrated in their curriculum, such that every year they send all their 6th graders, their 10th all.
So not just the student leaders.
Not just student leaders. So for 6th graders, 10th graders, and 11th graders, first time this year. The 6th graders, they go through an urban backpacking program. So what I love about the urban backpacking program is that we bring them to the different sites in Cebu, heritage sites, Carbon, Freedom Park.
I always do that.
Yes, and
That is my life.
for a lot of these kids, it's not. And then we let them ride the jeepney. So that's
That's not my life.
very that's very novel to them.
Yeah.
And what's nice is that they get to interact with the real Cebuano community and get an appreciation that Cebu is not all dangerous for them, and it's safe, and they get to interact with the vendors.
Because
They get,
it's unfortunate sometimes that the foreigners are able to experience that more than the locals.
Yes. So that's really amazing, and also an appreciation of our culture. Like we bring them to the different heritage sites in the Parian area, so they also get to know more about the history and what was the old Cebu like, and it's really pride of place. So,
But I have to commend Rafi for what Rafi is doing in the Parian district.
Yes.
Being a descendant of Parian families.
yes, the Lopez is one of those listed there. In the
Actually, a few of my grandmother is really Lumad Parian, from the Del Mar, the Duterte, Sala, Rosales, Chombiloso. They're all Parian families. In that book, Life in the Old Parian by Concepcion Briones.
And you should visit the Casa Gordo Museum.
Which
It's
is
open
renovated,
now.
no?
Yeah, and they
There's
have
a
a list
cafe.
there. Yes, the cafe is very, very good. The food is very good.
I gotta drop by.
And the souvenir shop is also very good because they sell all of these items. But
Are they selling more of the old Parian book?
yes,
Good,
there,
because there
it's
was a time
Yes.
so I hoarded it.
Yeah,
I give
and
my-
there's a list there of the old Parian
Families,
families. So there's really a list there, and some icons of the Parian district.
So in fact, I gave to my cousin who's also your friend, or AYLC batchmate, si Nina Terol.
1 year ahead. Yeah.
She was 1 year ahead. Oh, I was with her last night and she sent really good.
Yeah, I didn't make it.
So I
didn't
gave
make it to the dinner.
I gave her a copy of that book so that she also has since she grew up all her life, she was in Manila. So she has a better appreciation for our roots here in Cebu, and our roots are really completely Parian. Our Cebu roots are completely 100% Parian. So and when we moved here, I was like, okay, I heard stories about Parian, but when we moved here, what has happened to the glory of Parian? It has the distinction of being the oldest enclave of the elite in Cebu.
Yes.
And the Cebu being the oldest city and province in the country, then meaning the
First
oldest
business district, actually.
So it was really the oldest elite and commerce enclave in the Philippines.
Yes.
And then I was like, so I'm very happy with what Rafi is doing. But okay, we have to pause. We have to pause for a break because when Sol and I are together, we just blah 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 blah. So Open Mic will be right back with Sol Delantar-Gonzalvo. Sol, so I know you went to the States also once or twice.
3 times.
To train,
Yes,
no?
yes.
For in relation to your role as director of Cool Adventure Camp. So there is a degree for this. Why did you have to go 3 times?
No, there's the course that I went to is under the National Outdoor Leadership School.
Okay.
So it's in the US.
Indiana ba yun?
No, it's in Wyoming.
Wyoming.
But they have different campuses.
Okay.
But the one in Wyoming is the main campus.
Okay.
It was it's a 30-day program, and it's called Outdoor Educator course.
Okay.
So it's really a course that teaches you.
So you were outdoors most of the time?
Yes. I mean, when we arrived all the time. When we arrived there,
So camp.
camp.
Where did you
Everything
take a
on you. You don't.
You know?
You don't take a bath. You just, kind of wash your face.
You didn't
Wash your
drive.
face and, brush your teeth and
What was the
all the
season
hygiene.
when you were there?
Pre-winter.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
it was
we had like a
between fall and winter.
Yes.
So it was very cold.
Cold. We even had to camp in snow. In some snow. So it was very fun.
So you didn't have to take a bath.
No need to take a bath. But hygiene stuff lang. Hygiene stuff. The course actually takes us to really using the outdoors and loving the outdoors. So you need to learn how to cook, how to set your camp,
How to start a fire?
Yes. And also finding your way with really just basic map and compass. and at some point also they taught us about the stars.
Sun.
Yeah.
And the, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
the sun and the moon.
Yes,
You can actually
telling time by
through-
just, you know,
I can do that.
by just looking at the sun. Where is it in the horizon?
Exactly.
So pretty exciting.
And you also know your direction.
Yes, you have to. You have to.
With the sun and the, you know, the celestials help you.
But I was a bit confused for a time because it's different because they're in the northern hemisphere.
Exactly.
So the placement of the stars is like, okay, where is it? Yeah,
Like-
it's very different in the
And I'm
there's
sure-
moonrise and moonset.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm sure the stars shone brightly, more brightly.
yes.
Because it's darker, because you're in the wilderness.
yes, and you can see the Milky Way
Oh my God.
really,
beautiful.
really well.
So,
Yeah.
what about the stories of the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot?
Yes, we have a bear drill. It's
Okay.
called a bear drill. We have to know how many feet you have to camp from where your food will be stored. You have to set up like a bear fence.
Okay.
So it has electricity.
So there's really that risk.
yes.
Okay.
So we
What about
bring
wolves?
no wolves, no
Coyotes.
wolves. No coyotes.
So bear.
There's a lot of we did not have a bear sighting, but there actually was a lot of reindeer with a
Wow,
really
nice. We had Santa Claus
deer.
last week.
Yeah, I know. I heard. You have to really, because you can't. It's 30 days, so you have to get water from whatever water source and then really just filter it.
With the fire. I mean, you
No,
boil it?
we have like a water solution that actually kills the bacteria. Yeah.
So, but did you always have a bonfire at night?
Yes, because it was so dark, and it was the only way you can cook, and you.
So it'd be nice to talk about like
Yes.
scary stories. Like you said, the Bigfoot and
I'm
are you
sure.
afraid of the dark? The Blair Witch.
No, actually,
Weren't you afraid to be like in a Blair Witch type of situation?
not really, because the trees they were magical. They were not scary.
Scary.
Not like how we imagine it to
There's
be.
an upside down, you know, like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So 3 times you went on a course that's similar, or are they like?
Different, yeah, different. But the first one was actually just in Singapore, and then we sort of leveled it up until.
But it's the
I
same
signed up.
institution.
No, the one in Singapore was Outward Bound Singapore.
Okay.
So it's the same adventure education, outdoor education.
But the one in Wyoming,
is National Outdoor Leadership School. They're so when you say outdoor leadership, they are the center of excellence all over the world.
There was one time you went there and you just had an accident here, di ba?
That was the year.
Okay.
That was the year.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting, you know, I mean,
I was actually asked if I still wanted to proceed with the training,
Excuse me?
given that there was, you know, this
accident.
incident that happened. But I said, if I'm not going to do it, I might end up never doing it. So I said, I'm
so
going to
it was
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
experience for you.
At least I was cleared medically, everything. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't it a hassle?
No, but actually I went there and
No technology, no?
no technology. You
No
leave your
Facebook,
phone.
No 3G, nothing.
Because actually, this is what happens when you arrive. Your bags, you have to unpack everything. They look at everything that you bring and they say, leave this, bring this, leave
Oh my
this.
gosh. But what about emergencies, or what about when you miss your son? You know.
But it's okay. It's actually the biggest lesson is that you carry only you only bring in your backpack what you can
need
carry.
and what you can carry.
Yeah.
Well, you can carry a phone.
No, but they're very high tech.
But there are people like the camp master or whatever.
Yes,
they have,
the instructor has like a beaming, personal beam device that you just have to push that button,
Okay.
and then they actually that device, all it does is send the coordinates to the head office.
He doesn't have a satellite phone in case of
There is a
emergency?
sat phone, but it's off. What they do is, if they don't hear from the field's okay. You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's their
It's a one-way
process.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so that anyone who's there, if they really need to make a phone
They
call.
just press that personal.
How many
beam.
were you in the camp?
Just 16.
Okay.
16. I was the only Filipino. I was the oldest,
Mixed
but I was
boys
the
and girls.
smallest.
Men and women.
Yes. pretty young. There's like 20s, in their 20s.
And this is what you learned there is something that you brought into.
Yes, actually that was before I was promoted. So before my directorship, I had to go through that program. So it's really looking at how outdoor education can really be maximized and then bring it in the Philippine setting, in Cebu.
What are your success stories? For example, youth leaders, or especially those from the public school system, who've come back or who've given testimonials that say that, hey, that was really a life-changing experience, and it inspired me to.
Actually, our concrete measure of success is really the change projects, because since this public school students are scholars, the requirement is for them to pay it forward. So they need to do a change project in their school or in their community, and they need to document it and send it back to us. So we know that they are applying all of these tools. All of these tools, they're using them. And we've had some success because we really have good change projects that not only serve the school but also the community. They work with barangays, and before it used to just be solid waste management, the segregation and all of that.
Without follow through.
Yes, but now they already do tutorials.
The impact is important.
Yes,
it's not just doing a project for the sake of doing it.
They adopt even daycare centers where they teach. So it's really them doing something already and making sure it's sustainable. So even if they're gone, the next batch from the same school actually get to do.
You know what I like
projects.
about the kind of work that you do, that you expose young people, especially young people, to their environment and to learning from everything that you do. Because you know what, in my own life's experience, I'm always like that. Edward Edgar would say, you always believe in science. It's not so, but maybe. But everything for me has meaning. So everything that happens to you, whether it's, whether you perceive it to be good or bad, there's a lesson to be learned.
Yes.
And then you can not rationalize or romanticize, but you can draw something out of it, no? Whether it is a consequence of something or a cause of something, or something that can inspire you or propel you. They're everything that we do.
Yes, they're all over.
When you take the time out, every night, if you make a habit out of reflecting about the day that was, you will see that every day is an adventure.
Yes.
And that in every day that you have an adventure, there's so much to learn.
Yes.
And there's always a rationale for everything, and you would start to enjoy life more. And find an impetus, no? So I think that's the kind of mentality for me in the long run. It's not beyond the projects that they initiate in school. It's the mindset of seeing meaning in everything that we do.
And feeling empowered. That you can, whatever, we call our challenges dragons. So whatever dragons come your way, you can slay them.
Yes.
Because if you slay the 50-foot pole,
or ride on them.
Very Game of Thrones.
Which I have not yet seen.
Yes, you can also
maybe during Christmas
treat it that way. So you can slay these dragons.
Train them.
You can train their dragons.
Especially if they're toothless.
Yeah.
So, but this is a journey for you, Sol. No? I mean, you started with student council and you made your mark there, and then you've gone this far. Can you take us back to when you were
in student council?
Yeah,
wow.
you were tingog kanang
previous life.
What did you learn? What inspired you that you stuck to this path? No? Not everyone has.
I think you never work a day if you love your work. So I feel like I don't really work because this is what I've been doing since I was in college.
And you're now just being paid for it.
Yes, and just be paid well for it, diba? So that's the secret there. So I love talking. I love sharing stories. So I think it's very natural. So I found a job that also just really puts me in my element. So this is where I am. And Tingog is our political party back in college is very instrumental to this because Tingog taught me how to be confident with myself in front of, imagine campaigning 200 classrooms in a span of 5 days and repeating your speech 200 times.
Yes.
I mean,
it's
something
else.
else.
Alter it a bit
depending on engineering students and pol-sci students.
Because they have different interests.
Yes. So when you find that and what you're strong in, and then you use that, explodes. It just
Yeah.
creates
We
extraordinary
both took up
things,
the
yeah.
same course, advertising.
Yes.
But you know, I'm gonna ask a question, but you have to pause for another break after it, so you answer it when you return. But you started with campus politics. You were #1 counselor. You were vice president, and you were student council president. And I said early on when we started that you still hold the record, no? Throughout since 1980, since the student government was reestablished in 1983, the highest number of votes in USC. In the history of USC Student Council, highest number of votes and the highest margin. And I'm sure especially when you were in Manila, working with Ayala Foundation, I'm sure there was an opportunity to serve in government, whether in an appointed capacity or because you are electable, as proven by your student council days.
Winnable.
So why not? Or that's a negative question. No? Would you still consider a life in public service, more particularly, because what you're doing is a public service, but more particularly in the civil service, in government service, as a politician, as a bureaucrat, or a presidential appointee, whatever. But before you answer that, we have to pause for another break. Open mic, will be right back. We're back here at Open Mic with Sol, and this is going to be our last segment, and maybe the most colorful. So, Sol, my question is why, she was in student council. Would you consider
life in government?
Life in government, because you're still young,
Yeah.
and we need young people with burning idealism, like you. So,
I think at this point, no.
Okay.
But
I like the sensitive nature of your
yes,
answer.
but when I was in Makati, there was always
With
this
your Ayala.
offer. Yes, with Ayala Foundation, there's always this opportunity. I was always being asked, "Are you interested?" and all that. So I almost a little bit of story. I almost became the executive assistant of someone who ran for president.
I will remember. So
I will not say who.
that is
Because I
it.
don't think he also knew. I was shortlisted because there's actually of course there's always a list of names. I was there and I was told that I was #1, and because they saw the work that I did with the youth and all of this. So I was offered, but Ayala Foundation didn't want to let go of me at that point. So I didn't sign up for that.
Like I told you before we started, it's maktub. In Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist Maktub, it is written.
Yes.
So it was not meant to be.
It's not meant to
And
be.
great, because he lost.
I told you I was not going to say the name.
Well, a lot of them lost.
Yeah.
So, just to give you a clue, this is my favorite candidate for president.
No, but I still think that even if we're not in government, we can still
Of course, most
serve
certainly.
and the beauty about being in RAF is you're a frontliner. You're really there
True.
with the kids. You're doing
But-
the work. Yeah.
But being in government is actually more challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Not to diminish the work that NGOs do.
I have much respect for people
But
in
it's
government.
very difficult
yeah.
because you have public accountability, and people can actually criticize you. You're fair game,
Yeah.
if you're in public
Yeah.
office. But what would you, if ever, you were given a chance to work in government? What post would you? Do you see yourself, because you took up advertising, so something in communications would be
No,
good?
I'd be with DepEd. I'd be with Department of Education.
Because of
I
the-
feel strongly. I think if I were to join Department of Education, we'd really do a lot of these outdoor I mean, I'd follow the frame of the Singapore education, where they really, as young as like first graders, they send all of their kids outdoors and learn from just really dexterity skills, life skills, and I think this is what's lacking also here. We have so many opportunities to learn from really natural environments.
That's true.
But it's
So it would be
it's a
Department
long
of
way to go.
Education,
Yes,
if ever.
I'd be with Department of Education.
Would you run for office?
No.
President?
No. I I'll work na lang with you.
When I become president,
Yes.
I
I'll
will
work
lobby
na lang,
mighty
yeah.
hard to make you Secretary General of the Year.
I'll have to watch again all the West Wing
West Wing. Watch that,
episodes.
people.
Yeah, I think that's the best. Yeah.
Inspiring, you know.
Benchmark.
And you watch it alongside another Aaron Sorkin series, The Newsroom.
Yeah, Newsroom.
It's also
I have yet to watch all of that.
I will give you
Okay.
the real DVD. So you wouldn't consider elective office, but you are not averse to the idea of working in government in an appointed capacity,
Yeah.
but
Especially if I believe in the leader.
specific to education. Yeah, but do we choose who to serve under if the service is for the country?
I think we don't choose, but it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it
But
makes
if
a
you're
difference
called,
if you're
say if you are called to serve by someone who you are critical of, would you?
First, I'd ask a question, why me? If I was critical of him or her, why choose?
Because sometimes it's not that, no? It's your capacity, your capability. If you fit the job, would you?
I'm open to discussion, but I'll nominate someone else.
But I remember I nominated you also before.
Yeah, some people are so difficult to say no to, right? But I think at this point, I am where I think
You can make the most difference.
Yes, the most difference. So I'd stay here, and then maybe in the
And your
future.
family's
Yes,
here.
yes, yeah.
So, but again, no, let's go back to college. Did you ever see yourself doing this when you were in student council? Because remember when
You mean politics,
no,
government,
no,
or where I am?
where you are?
Yeah.
Because remember when we're like nominated for the outstanding leader, and then we are normally, one of the canned questions that we're asked is, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now, etc., etc.
Yeah.
What do you envision for yourself, your future? Did you ever?
Yes,
think of
working
this?
government.
No.
Oh, here. Sorry.
What you're doing?
This one, no, because there's no profession like this before. When we were in college, it's like you cannot have work that is really just training and with young leaders. There was not that option before, and I think that was why I moved to Makati after graduating, because the job opportunities that we had here were very limited.
But you didn't want to pursue a career in advertising?
I wanted to. I applied, and my first job was really e-commerce, and that sort of really used a lot of my advertising skills, because people, you can't see people, they can't see you. All they see is that the computer and how you project that brand. But it's so hard to get in the advertising industry.
When you were you asked that question in Outstanding Leader?
Yes.
So what was your answer then?
I can't remember anymore, but I think I really wanted to go corporate.
That's your answer.
Corporate.
So more than government, even when you were in campus politics, you wanted to go corporate.
Yes.
But you still are corporate, no?
Semi-corporate.
Yeah, in a way, because it's a corporate foundation.
It's a family foundation.
So it's not a corporate foundation.
No, the corporate foundation is Aboitiz Group Foundation.
They're completely separate.
Very
entities.
different, because the corporate foundations, they only operate in areas where there is business. We operate wherever the family wants to do their philanthropy.
Oh, and the Aboitises are listed.
They're number 1.
Yeah.
In the Forbes list.
Forbes list of the most generous families in the Philippines.
Yes.
You are so lucky.
Yes.
And I'm also blessed to have some of them as my friends, because you would want to be in the company of generous friends, right? Yeah. Generous not to you, but to people, no? But the Zobels are also the same.
Yes, equally. I mean, I think my bias for an employer is that some people who don't only do well, but they do good.
I thought your bias for employers is they have to be Spanish. Because they're both Spanish and handsome. But you're the only one who's ever worked for the 2 top Spanish families here.
I think so. Yeah.
Especially,
it's really an honor.
In the philanthropic side of what they do, not the profit side of what they do. And do you have any realizations doing what you're doing? Like now, you know, when you are left alone, most of the time you're in Balamban, where the camp is, and so you're surrounded by nature, mountains, sprawling, rolling hills.
Yes. Realization.
Yeah. Do you have times? You know, I'm speaking for myself because it's my daily ritual. When you have your coffee or your tea, that you reflect on the life you've lived so far.
Yeah, I think my biggest realization is that there's no finish line. I mean, the work that we do, I used to have that need to know that I'm succeeding in what I'm doing, but I realized that there is no finish line, because when I get to point B, there's another next milestone that you need to do, and I think that's what really keeps me on my toes. That there's more work to do, and that there's no time to slack. There's no time to let down your guard, especially in the kind of work that we do. That's there are lives at stake, especially with the climbing and all of that. So there's no finish line. You just have to keep on doing what you're doing, and the more good you do, you also make sure that you are becoming good yourself, like with your skills, with your own capabilities.
Of all the what do you call them in the courses? Of all the courses.
Yes.
What is the one course that you feel personally is most challenging, and at the same time you get the most insight from? And what is that insight?
Well, two. Actually, I have two answers for that. One is that when LGUs come to Cool Adventure Camp, and you have mayors, you have all of these department heads in different LGUs, it's very humbling, because the work that they do really consumes them. I mean, the life that they live, they have to suspend ambition, or because these LGUs who come to us, they really share about the difficulties, the challenges, and how you are pressured to fulfill the things that you promised within your term. And they're really good public servants out there, and they're very inspiring, especially just with the life they live. So that's what we want to do more. The other thing is really the public high schools, because when they come to the camp, you know how their eyes twinkle, because this is the first time they were out of their school. They stepped out of their, that Lord of the Rings feeling of, who's this, the guy who was with Samwise Gamgee, was it? The guy who was helping Frodo carry the ring, and said, this is the farthest I've been home. I mean, that's the feeling they have. And then when they step in the camp, it's like they're so quiet, and
who knew learning could be so much fun?
Yeah, and it's just when they leave, you see that they've grown so much in the 3 days that they are with us. They talk more when they leave. They're more saba. I mean, it's just so amazing. Yeah.
But for you, is there one specific activity in the camp?
In the camp.
Yeah, specific. Let's say
challenge.
In the camp, that for you, that when you tried it, that either it's the most challenging, or it brought you the most realizations, most learnings.
I think for me, the most challenging is not the ropes course, but for me, the most challenging is really the quieting down and the reflection time, because how they say that experience is the best teacher, but it's really reflected experience is the best teacher. You know how you said it earlier, that you have to think about it, you have to find the meaning, and I think that's the most difficult, when you have to go beyond what is in front of you and really see what is this for me. And I think that for me is really the life change, and that's what separates us from recreation. It's really the really looking into the experience and saying that, okay, this is what I learned.
And it's not just really when you find meaning in things, it also fosters critical thinking. That not everything, that not what you see in the surface is, what it may actually be. There is more to what we see, even in people. No? So it fosters critical thinking, which is good for people in the long run, aside from finding meaning in one's life and purpose. No? But unfortunately, our time is up. No, but before
Already?
there should be a part 2. But before we go, I'd like to invite all of you to watch and follow our shows live online through live stream at www.livestream.com/mytv30/on-air. And please do like us on our Facebook page, and that's at www.facebook.com/mytvchannel. My TV, my channel. Okay. So we had a very refreshing, invigorating talk with one of the country's most dedicated and passionate youth leaders.
Thank you, Mike.
After what? 20 years of being a student and youth leader, you're still at it. Very consistent to your core.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time, Sol.
Thank you,
I know
Mike.
you're very busy. And finally, we did this.
Yes.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So everyone, I hope you had fun. This was another episode of Open Mic. Very light and very, for me, full of learning and insight. Until next week, this is Mike Lopez. Good night and Godspeed.